Hi folks, welcome back to another video on all things Sorare Contender divisions. I'm Mark, good to have you back for another video. In this one, we are going to very much look ahead to the return of the real football after the international break this weekend. We've got loads of contender action, we've got Norway back, we've got Brazil back, so a very exciting weekend coming up. Feels like there's a lot of contender action at the moment before the European leagues finish. So what I'm going to do is I'll start off with having a look at the fixtures overall in the contender region, see which teams have the most favourable win percentages, clean sheet percentages, all that kind of stuff. We'll have a look at home and away, see that split as well. I'm also then going to go to Sorare data and have a look at the pick scores. I won't spend too much time on it, but we will have a look at which players have a AAA pick score rating in contender for this coming weekend, which might help with your lineups. We'll have a quick look at team news, not that there's much of that yet because I'm recording this on Wednesday night. Lots more of that to come over the next 48 hours or so. And yeah, finish up as always with I will build some of my lineups for this coming weekend. So let's get straight into it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is from Sorare Probabilities. There's a link in the description to this video to check this out for yourself. Make sure you follow Sorare Probabilities on X, on Twitter as it used to be known. So this is always my starting point for a game week. Very, very useful tool with loads of really helpful information. So this is GW66. It is contender teams only, and this at the moment is set to win percentage for home teams. So which teams are we seeing here that have the best matchups this weekend? The ones that have a lot of Sorare cards. So Celtic straight away jump out there. Celtic are home to Hearts with an 81% win percentage. I'm going to that game, so I'm looking forward to having quite a few Celtic cards in my priority lineups this coming weekend. Hajduk Split in Croatia also come out pretty high, playing against bottom of the league. I've got Lavadia, I've got Rakitic. I'll be using those guys. Zenit have a good fixture in Russia, as do Dynamo Moscow. Monterrey are pretty high this week, 72%. At home, I've got Canales. He'll be a captain in one of my teams. Molde in Norway, their first game of the season. They've got a 70% win percentage, but I don't think they've got too many Sorare cards that we can use. Elsewhere, looking down the list, Cruzeiro in Brazil seem to be pretty good as well, 67%. River Plate, 67% as well. Spezia in Serie B. And elsewhere, who have we got? Necaxa have a good matchup this weekend as well. So let me just quickly change this to away teams to see which teams have the best chance of winning away from home. And it is the other Glasgow side that come out on top. Rangers away to Dundee with a win percentage of 75%. Bodo Glimt in Norway, their first game of the season. I think they're up against a newly promoted team, 72%. I've got a few from Bodo. I've got Hoyga, I've got Evian as classic, so we're looking to use those guys this weekend. Basel have a good fixture, 66% win percentage. Shaqiri will be getting rolled out this coming weekend. Zagreb, good fixture as well, 60%. Shandong in China. Who else is here? Lorient in France. Rijeka, who are top of the Croatian league. And then we're getting down towards the 50% percentages. So let me just go back and have a quick look. Let's have a look at, I like looking at clean sheets when it comes to defenders and goalkeepers. So let's have a quick look at which teams have the best chances of a shutout this weekend. So you've got Independiente, you've got Hajduk Split. So you've got, split defenders like Perpic, etc. The split goalkeeper, you're looking good for this week. Zenit show up again here. I mean, obviously there's going to be crossover with the win percentages and the clean sheet percentages. River Plate again, Armani, Diaz, etc. are going to be popular this upcoming game week. I see Gymnasia in here with a clean sheet percentage of 54%. I've got their goalkeeper, Insfran, so I'm probably going to use him. And let's just have again a quick look at clean sheet percentages for teams away from home. Again, Rangers, Bodo, Basel. I've actually clicked the wrong thing there. That's win percentage. Let me go to clean sheet percentage away from home. Going to be similar teams anyway. Dynamo are top for clean sheet percentage away. Machida show up quite well here in the J League. I've got their defensive stack as well, so I'll probably look to use that against Avispa. Rijeka turn up here again, as do Bodo, Rangers. Boca Juniors are up here as well, but again, those percentages are getting down towards 40%. So again, I will come back to this sheet in a little while when I start looking at my own players for the game week and we start building lineups. Well, let's just jump over for now to Sorare Data, another very useful place to help you build your lineup. So let's just have a quick look at AAA rated players in Contender for Game Week 66. Goalkeepers, Armani comes out on top. Now, my understanding of Sorare Data, you'll see there's quite a few, there's what's that, 6 goalkeepers here are AAAs, but Armani, it does go in order. You know, there's a number behind this letter system, and that means Armani is the number one choice. It's not a random order here. Armani's on top for a reason. So no surprise, he has been absolutely smashing it recently. I've been trying to buy one, as you'll know from the most recent video, but I haven't managed to get my hands on one yet. But it's not the easiest fixture. Is that Rosario? Yeah, they're a pretty good side. So it's not a given that River will keep a clean sheet, but they're probably one of the top 3, top 5 teams, I would say, in Contender, where when it comes to clean sheet confidence, I always have it with that team. A couple of guys here, looks like in Russia, you've got Markisin at Boca Juniors as a AAA, Rodrigo Ray, who plays for, I'm not even going to guess, but he's in South America, I'm pretty sure. Not too much in terms of AAAs among goalkeepers, and we're not overly interested anyway. Let's get to the outfield players. Defenders, first of all, we've got Igor Deviv. I know he's been scoring well recently. Alistair Johnson at home to Hearts, along with Cameron Carter-Vickers. No surprise to see the Celtic boys up there. Kim Jin-soo, FC Seoul at home to Daegu. Who else have we got here? Mustafa Mbao. I've had him for quite a while from Paris FC. They're playing 18th in the league this weekend, so I'm definitely going to be using Mustafa Mbao and probably Cabal as well. We scroll down here a little bit further. Santiago Ramos Mingo. You've got Sigali there as a AAA. Jamie Lawrence has been scoring very well in Austria this season. Miro Muheim, who is very often a AAA. And there's Perpic. We talked about Split there with a very good fixture, playing bottom of the league. I'm tempted to actually pick up a Dominic Perpic. I've had him a few times, bought him and sold him. But tempted to bring him in just to put him in my under 23 team this coming game week with such a good fixture. Let's jump to midfielders. Again, a very quick look. No surprise. Barco, number 1, as he often is. Let me make sure you can see these. Ezequiel Barco. Shaqiri second. James Rodriguez. Usual suspects here. Edwin Cardona shows up on the list here. Paradea, who I've also got. Necaxa with that good matchup. Good chance Paradea will make it into my priority lineup. Mamadou Sangari, I've also got him, so good to see him as a AAA. Alistair Johnson, the midfielder card, of course. Otar Kitiashvili, it's Graz. Canales, Monterrey, good matchup. Rakitic, we mentioned. Marvin Vanacek, despite playing away from home, currently rated as a AAA on Sorare Data. Not sure I agree with that though, because it's an away fixture and it's not an easy one. There's Marius Broholm at Rosenborg, first game of the season. Down here is a AAA. He's been reclassified, Broholm, as a forward for his new in-season card, which is quite interesting. I had his classic last year, and I'm certainly keen to get an in-season forward card when those prices settle down a wee bit. And that brings us down to the AA, so let's jump to the forwards. And let's see who the usual suspects are here. Andres Martin at Santander. He's been scoring really well recently, but of course he has a classic card. But a classic card that you could definitely captain this weekend. Dominic Fitz. I actually sold my Dominic Fitz over the last week or so. It took a lot for me to do it. I love the guy, but European cards don't have much left. I think he's moving on in the summer as well. Looks like he's going to the MLS, which is no good for me as a contender manager. So hopefully I didn't sell him too early. But Dominic Fitz, always a good captaincy option, especially with a good fixture this weekend. There's Lavadia. I was going to sell Lavadia during this international break, but I'm holding on to him for this fixture, and I'm backing him to do well. Fabian Rees shows up here. Berardi as usual. Gautier Hein, I've got him. Good home fixture, AAA. Czerny at Rangers. Paulinho in Mexico, I've got him as well. So it's good to see that I've got quite a few of these guys that Sorare data are rating quite highly. And there's Broholm again, showing up in the forward section as well as the midfielders. So let's get, where will we go now? I'm going to go quickly just to Predictorify, the team news prediction website, which is another very useful tool. But because it is Wednesday, there's not much here yet. But just wanted to touch on Celtic. McBride, I'm sure we'll update this as well before the weekend when we get a bit more information. What's he saying so far? Schmeichel does look like he's picked up an injury. There's rumours that he could be out for the season, but there's nothing concrete there yet. I actually bought my first limited Schmeichel about a week ago, and straight away he goes out and gets injured for Denmark. But I do have a limited Sinisalo as well, so it's not going to hurt me too much. Just hopefully we have a bit of clarity on the Celtic goalkeeper position before the weekend. Elsewhere at the back, Johnston is safe, Carter Vickers is safe, Schlupp should be safe at left back as well. Trusty missed the Rangers game. His wife did have a kid. There was talk of an injury as well, so hopefully we get some news on that Thursday, Friday. But I'd say there's some slight concerns over him at the moment. McGregor should be back. He missed the Rangers game as well, but he's had 2 weeks to recover. And I think McBride said here he was close for the Rangers game, so he should be okay. Engels is safe. Hatate is safe. Jota, I would say, is safe. Daisen Maeda should be safe as well, but there was talk of a little injury concern with him while he was away with Japan. Nicholas Kuhn has been very disappointing recently, given his early season form. So I wouldn't say Kuhn is a safe starter. Yang's been really good off the bench, so it wouldn't be a huge surprise to me if Yang got a start soon over Nicholas Kuhn. So just be careful with that one. Elsewhere, I'll fire up the Rangers team quickly. I've just picked up, I've committed the ultimate sin as a Celtic fan, and I've bought the Rangers captain Tavernier. But there is method to the madness, which I'll talk about later when I build my lineups. Elsewhere, Dessers, Czerny, Hadji, all of those guys should be pretty safe. Diamande, Suter, usual suspects, Butland in goal. Apart from that, I don't think there's team news through for much else. Maybe a couple of German ones. Magdeburg, looks like Attic's okay. Matheson is back. Haber, Ryman. Hertha, Fabian Rees is here. Maza, Cuisance, John Joe Kenny's down as 55%. It says here, John Joe Kenny's questionable after a little injury in the training session on Tuesday. So I do have a John Joe Kenny. I've been trying to sell him, and that probably explains why people have not been sending me offers. So, lineup builder. Let's jump over to Sorare data, and we'll get Sorare probabilities back up on the screen as well. Again, I'm not going to build all of my teams tonight, but we'll build a few. A couple of rare teams and a couple of limited teams as well, just to give you an idea of my early thoughts on what my teams will look like this upcoming weekend. So we will start with the in-season Division 1 rare. Let me go back to Sorare probabilities. I will flick this over to in-season cards only, which is very handy. Sorare probabilities is telling me that my best goalkeeper for the game week is Nelson Insfran at Gymnasia. Let me just change this to in-season cards only as well. And see, I'm always looking for correlation between the Sorare probability sheet and Sorare data. But to be honest, I put a lot more weight on Sorare probabilities. I trust those numbers more than Sorare data. So on this one, it's given me a Nelson Insfran as a B rating as my fourth choice, fourth best in-season goalkeeper. But again, I don't really like Zach Hemming at St. Mirren that much. Insane has a good matchup, but Nakax I don't fully trust defensively. Ishimori's here shown out on top, but again, he's away from home. I don't think his clean sheet percentages are too high. So I think there's every chance that Insfran will go in as my in-season goalkeeper this weekend. Defenders in season, Trusty is showing up with a projected score of 90. But is he going to be fit is the big question. Sriracha I don't trust because he hasn't been playing recently. Liam Scales is injured. Handel is okay, but he plays away from home and the clean sheet percentage here is only 36%. James Tavernier, I really shouldn't have bought him. I know I've upset Quinny and McBride and the like, my fellow Celtic fans. But the thinking behind it is, as you all know, if you play Contender, it is very hard to compete with Celtic collectors when Celtic score well, and hopefully they will at home to Hearts this weekend. My thinking is, how do I differentiate from the other Celtic fans, Celtic collectors who will roll out 5-man stacks, goalkeeper, Sinisalo, probably Johnston, Carter Vickers, Engels, Jota, all of these guys. And one way to counteract that is to go against them with a player that they will never buy, they will never use, and that is Tavernier, who we know is a very good scorer on Sorare because he's a set piece taker, he's a penalty taker, he takes everything basically, and he can certainly return from open play as well. So he is the only Rangers player that I'm going to allow myself to purchase because it's points that I want, it's rewards that I want, and it's one way to differentiate from those Celtic stacks. So Tavernier might make it over Trusty if Trusty is not fit. If Trusty is fit, I probably will use him, but you can understand the logic behind the Tavernier selection. Midfielders in season, my best option is looking like Paradea. Pallavicino, his teammates, looking good as well, as is Sangare. But I do like Paradea. Is he coming up highly here? Yeah, he's number 1 on Sorare data, AAA, my best midfielder, so that's an easy choice. Forward options, it probably is going to be Lavadia. I'm pretty sure he's top in both places. Yeah, projected score, Sorare probabilities is 77. Jota 71. So I now have the option of a classic card to fill out this lineup. So let's see who's shown out best in this one. On Sorare data, it is Shaqiri, Alistair Johnston's here, Carter Vickers, Mustafa Mbao, at Paris, Gautier Hein, who I always like to use. We've got Paulinho, we've got Canales. We're basically spoiled for choice with this one. Let's just jump over here, filter the classic only, and see what is coming out on top. And maybe someone like a Jota or a Johnston just goes in here to make it 5 in-season cards. So Gautier Hein projected 64. We have Ole Selnes. I just picked him up from Rosenborg as a classic, but he's had some issues, I think, towards the end of last season and during pre-season, so he's not a sure starter. Arnie Engels projected to score 84. I quite like that. Canales 81. Cabal 73, but Cabal can be benched at times. Shaqiri 68. Defenders, Carter Vickers 82. It probably should be Carter Vickers that goes in here. Although I do like Canales a lot. So there's not much between these players. Shaqiri comes into my thinking here as well. I think Carter Vickers I've got the most XP on, so I get the most boost from his score. But I'm inclined to go here Canales because he's been so consistent recently. I like the matchup, and I like him as a captain as well. I think he's 100 capable this weekend, as are most of these, to be fair, aside from the goalkeeper. So I think I'm going to go Canales initially, and I'll have a look at that again closer to the weekend. So there is my priority lineup. First draft: Insfran, Tav, Paradea, Lavaggia, and Canales. And that, to me, is a team that is capable of winning the division, or at least getting a podium. Let's build one more in-season team, and then we'll have a look at some of the classics and limited as well. So let's go back to the sheet. Let's go back to in-season cards only. Goalkeepers. I do feel like my goalkeeper setup could be stronger. It does feel a bit weak to me at the moment when you look at these projected scores, and that's why I'm keen to get someone like an Armani in to strengthen this, because if I owned an Armani, he would obviously go into my Division 1 team instead of Insfran. So maybe I try and get an Armani before the deadline, but I need to talk to my bank manager before that and get a loan, because as you can see, funds are very low, 39p and 0.001 Ethereum. It is tough times at Troops FC. Goalkeeper, Ishimori, I'm not overly keen on that because of the fixture away from home. More inclined to go Kositani because the clean sheet percentage is much better. So maybe I could look at a Machida defensive stack. Let's go for that. Let me change this again to in-season only. Apply. I think I've got some difficult decisions to make on the goalkeepers this game week, because none of them are fantastic. I say I might go for a stack, but probably better off going Alistair Johnston. Let's be honest. Home to Hearts, and projected score for Alistair Johnson is 66. Interesting there, Okamura is got a higher projected score than Alistair Johnson, so that is an option. I need to get away from Sorare. I keep clicking the wrong tab. Alistair Johnston or Okamura to go for the, I am tempted by the Machida defensive stack, but I think I'd always lean towards Johnson in that scenario. Go for Johnston, go for some attacking returns, hopefully a clean sheet, and then hopefully Kositani does the business for Machida. Midfield options. Do I go for a classic midfielder or a classic forward? I'm inclined. It's probably going to be Jota in this one. So I might swerve Celtic in my priority lineup. Doesn't make much sense with the fixture. But Hearts are decent, and it's more about trying to overthink it and trying to outsmart these other Celtic collectors and try and hope my cards outscore theirs, even if Celtic win comfortably. So that's the thinking behind that. So this is Division 2, so Jota probably will make it into this one. Jota is my second best rated in season behind Lavaggia. So where is he here? There he is. Jota, Alistair Johnson. So maybe this becomes a bit of a Celtic theme, and maybe the classic card here could be Arnie Engels or Carter Vickers, both rated quite highly. Engels projected 84, penalties, free kicks, corners, etc. Carter Vickers 82, always Mr. Reliable. I've got a 13% bonus in Carter Vickers, where I've only got a 5% bonus on Engels. So that might play into my thinking. And Carter Vickers might get the extra spot here. Just defensive double up, Johnston and Carter Vickers. So that would mean we need an in-season midfielder. So who are we looking at? Let's change this over again. Options are Pallavicino, but I don't love that because Paraday has taken most of the set pieces and the penalties. Mamadou Sangare I always like at Rapid Vienna, but again 61 is not a fantastic score. So that has me thinking again, do I go Arnie Engels instead and go for an in-season defender that has a higher rating than Sangare, Pallavicino, etc. Could go Rakitic in their best fixture of the season. Maybe I will end up on a Machida defensive stack in this one. So Johnson can stay. We could put Okamura in here along with Kositani. So, and then the midfield spot could go to Arnie Engels. To me, that is another strong lineup. I'm already seeing that this week is not going to be an easy week to build lineups, and there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing between now and the deadline. Arnie Engels, and it's probably Arnie Engels captain in this one, even though I don't have a huge amount of XP and bonus on him. But I just think he's at 100 capable with all the set pieces and the penalties and the home fixture. So again, I like that. Kositani, Okamura defensive stack, Johnston, Engels, Jota as the Celtic trio. So we'll save that one. And again, I'll come back to that before the deadline. Let's build one classic rare team, and then we'll have a quick look at limited, and I will get myself out of here. So Contender Classic, I've got 3 teams in Division 1. Hopefully they can all stay there, and more importantly, win me some decent rewards. Salinger comes out number 1 here. I'm pretty sure he's number 1 over on Sorare Probabilities as well. Let me just sort to all. Mitov is injured. I have picked up his backup, Ross Doohan. So here, Ross Doohan's projected 44, but in my mind, that's a lot higher. You know, you could really say Doohan's projected 62, similar to Mitov. Maybe not as good a goalkeeper as Mitov, so you could probably shave a few points off that. But for me, Salinger is going to be my go-to. He's going to be my first choice classic goalkeeper this week. I've got a lot of XP in him as well. I've had him for about a year. Good home fixture. So I think that's an easy choice. Carter Vickers will be my classic defender of choice. The midfielder could then be, let's just jump back over here. Midfielder's probably going to be, we've used Canales already. Cabal, I'm always a little bit scared of because of the unpredictable benchings that he gets from time to time. It's probably going to be Shaqiri. Shaqiri with a good fixture. It looked like Shaqiri wasn't going to play in the last game week. I didn't put him in any lineups. I stuck him on the market, and then he did play. And I'm pretty sure he got an assist. Yeah, so that was frustrating, but hopefully he's okay for this coming weekend and is back among the decisives. The forward, I already know it's probably going to be Gautier Hein. Yeah, he's got a higher projection than the likes of Jesse Lingard, Anderson Lopez, Paulinho, although I do rate Paulinho pretty highly. But yeah, Gautier Hein probably goes in here, and he'll be fighting with Cameron Carter-Vickers for the armband. And again, I really like Mustafa Mbao, but it could be Paulinho. But again, it's probably going to be back to Alistair Johnson. So I've got an in-season Johnston now, and I've got a classic. Carter Vickers probably gets the armband in this one. And again, to me, when it comes to classic, that is a pretty good lineup. Salinger, Carter Vickers, Johnston, Shaqiri, and Mr. Hein. So we'll save that one. And we will have a look at limited. In-season limited, I have 2 teams in Division 1. So let's build those. And I'll just build them with limited cards only. Of course, the rares can go in. But to keep it clear on the video and to show you what my limited setup is like, we will jump over here. We can also change this one to... No, we'll stay with Contender, but we'll change it to limited cards. I probably should have a look at under 23 afterwards as well. So, limiteds, Kasper Schmeichel, just bought him. Probably not going to be able to use him. But as you can see down there towards the bottom, I do have Sinisalo. So, it's going to be a Celtic goalkeeper in this setup. It does sound like Schmeichel's injured. Hopefully there's a miracle and he's fine. But at least it won't affect me because I've got the backup. Always a sensible thing to do in Sorare. Defenders. Again, Trusty. Carter Vickers. Again, with the doubts over Trusty, I'm probably just going to put Carter Vickers in here. We can already see what's going to happen here. This is going to become a Celtic stack. If it does, I'll build a second limited lineup just to see what we'll do. Midfielder options. Again, Arnie Engels, Callum McGregor. I've got a Paradea, Pallavicino. So a lot of crossover between my rares and my limiteds. Again, it's going to be Engels. Forwards. It could be Daisen Maeda, but I did buy a Jota this week. Jota's got a higher projection. Jota doesn't have any injury niggles. Jota goes in. So yeah, let's just... May as well just finish this out now as a Celtic stack. Unless there's anyone who's an absolute smasher. Someone like this, I do like throwing in the one rogue pick. So someone like a Noah Dusseni could go in here from who does he play for? He's in Switzerland somewhere. His team is not coming to me. Hakon Evian at Bodo's an option, but again, you know what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to go double Celtic defence, Carter Vickers, Alistair Johnston, and captain again. Probably Carter Vickers or Engels. Probably lean towards Engels here in the limited side of things. What is the problem? That needs to be an in-season Johnston, and then we should be good. Yep, one limited card, one classic card, which is Carter Vickers. We'll save that one. Let's build one more, and let's not include any Celtic this time because that gets boring for the viewers. This team is called Heart and Soul because I already had a look at it earlier in the week, and it was FC Seoul have a good matchup at home to Daegu, although Daegu have started the season well. If you ignore the Celtic players here, I've got Kim Ju-sung, 62. I have Ki Sung-young and Jung Sung-won, both on 60 at the moment. And I've got a Jesse Lingard, also rated 60. So I think I will probably roll out the FC Seoul stack in Division 1 because they've got the home fixture. And again, I'll show you what I might do. I might go 4 FC Seoul players and then throw in a rogue one. This needs to be sorted back to limited only. So where is he? Where is Kim Ju-sung? Probably the captain in this lineup. The midfielder, again, I've got the Seoul midfielders, but I don't love them. Ki Sung-young's getting on, probably his last season. Doesn't always start. Jung Sung-won is not doing it for me at the moment. So maybe I just leave it as a Seoul defensive setup. These need to be in season because Kang is classic. Let me change this to in season and see what the other options are. Yeah, so I'm probably going to go down the route of Paradea. He went into my rare in-season Division 1, so he probably goes into a Division 1 limited as well. Lingard probably does make it here, along with his Seoul teammates. And then I'm probably looking at just chucking in a Celtic player here again, just because they've got the good fixture. And do I have... Yeah, I've got an in-season Carter Vickers. I must have used the classic Carter Vickers in the previous lineup because I certainly don't have 2 in-season Carter Vickers. So that looks strong. FC Seoul defensive stack. Everyone else is great. Captaincy, I said Kim Ju-sung, but it's probably Carter Vickers. He is very, very reliable, particularly at home. So again, I like that team. And I always think, is anyone else going to have this team? And the answer is probably no, because I've mixed and matched Seoul, Celtic, Necaxa. Chances are very slim of anyone having the same team. So I like that because if you're in it to win it, you probably need to be different than the others. Let me very quickly, before I go, I don't usually play under 23 rare, but I do now have Kositani. And if I don't use him in a contender lineup, I could look to enter an under 23 team in Division 2, try to get them promoted. Let me see. Kositani's not showing up here because we've used him in another lineup. So let's go instead to Sorare itself and we'll have a look at my options. Let's see what this offer is for. First of all, Sakai, who's injured, listed for £29. Offering £4, Hiroshi, Sakai's teammate, and Julian Green. That's probably going to be a reject because I want to keep Sakai until he's back. I do like him from Vissel Kobe. to go along with. I've got Tuller, the other centre back as well. So I'm probably going to keep Sakai. So I'll politely decline that offer. I've been doing some dealings with this King Sears recently, some good ones. But anyway, getting sidetracked. Let's have a very quick look at what an under 23 team would look like for me this week, and whether I should go for it or not. You'll see there, that's just very quickly thrown together best of Europe lineup. I don't have any champion card, so this is my only chance to throw in some smashers, Kimmich, etc, etc. Hopefully win some market credits. Always make sure you enter that team because you can win some decent market credits. I won a massive $1 market credit midweek. I can't remember. I think I had a lot of Barcelona. Was it Barcelona? No, it was international. So I think it was. I can't even remember who was in the team. Anyway, under 23 for the weekend. Let's have a look what I could do. Let me get out of that because that is limited. Let me go to rare. Add a team. Division 2. I probably should start focusing on this and try and get a team into Division 1 because, of course, there's some really good rewards to be won in under 23, and I think I've got good enough cards to compete. So Kositani would go in. Kim Ju-sung is an option, but I probably want him for contender. Affengruber's always good, but again, he's got an away fixture, which I don't love. Junosuke Suzuki is probably not going to make it into my contender teams this week, so maybe he goes in here. Arnie Engels, again, probably going to be in contender. Sangari might not make it in contender. As you can see there, I actually don't have very many under 23 midfielders. Batterina I'm trying to sell at the moment. If he doesn't sell by the weekend, I'll probably chuck him in here, under 23. But again, Sangari, we remember from Sorare Probabilities, has a good projection this week, around 71. The forwards, again, not many options, but good news today. I've had this Yutaro Oda card for over a year. The reason I had him, he was a collection piece for my Kyogo Furuhashi, who has also since moved on. But Oda today moved to Shonan, which is also the team that Akito Suzuki plays for. So that is very strange. I've only got 223 forwards, and now they both play for the same team. And I think Shonan today also, or yesterday, sold Lukian, who scored their most recent goal. So I've got Suzuki, I've got Oda. Obviously here it shows up that Oda is playing Celtic, but he's gone back to Japan. He's a really good player, so I'm quite happy to use him again in the future. I've got good XP built up on him, but for this weekend, obviously it is Akito Suzuki. So maybe it is a double up on the Suzukis from Shonan for my under 23 team. And then if Brian Ramirez doesn't sell before the deadline, he probably makes it in. It could be Batterina. It could be Affengruber. Foremost Mendy's been a disaster, never plays anymore. Montes doesn't play really for Necaxa either. So it's probably at the moment, because of the cards I've got on the market, Affengruber, who I think scored 100 in the most recent game week during that international break. I captained him, but the Scotland guys let me down in the same lineup. So I'm very tempted by under 23. Keen to hear your thoughts in the chat, in the comment section. Should I play this under 23 team, or should I be using the likes of Singari, Kositani, probably Junosuke Suzuki? Should they be in my contender teams? They're probably good enough for them. But I'm very keen to get this going. And maybe I should buy a cheap under 23 goalkeeper so that I can use Kositani in contender instead. But I think I probably will this weekend get an under 23 team out there. So I'm just going to submit this on Sorare for now. Captain wise, probably looking at Sangari. But again, it's probably that team's probably good enough to compete, probably good enough for a promotion, probably promotion only. I don't think I'd be near the top of the leaderboard with that one. But the goal would be just get to Division 1, and then we can start putting better players into the, maybe if I was in Division 1, someone like an Engels or players like that would start making it into that lineup. So I will leave it there for this video. Hopefully you find it useful for your contender building for this upcoming weekend. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Please leave a comment, even if it's just to say you enjoyed the video. I like reading them. I like getting back to them. Any thoughts you have on my gallery, any questions you have about Contender, anything like that. I am here not just to show you what I'm doing Contender-wise, but I'm here to share my knowledge on the Contender division as well. Like I say, I've been playing Contender, since Sorare changed their format and they split it into the 3 regions. I have very much focused on Contender only because that's where Celtic were, and I've learned an awful lot in that time. So any questions you have about specific players or teams or anything like that, send me a message. Best place to do it is just in the comment section of this video, and I will reply to all comments. So yeah, feel free to ask anything or leave any comments there, and I'll get back to you before the deadline. Make sure you follow me on X as well. I will be putting a post up for team news, for people to submit team news. It's what's my handle? It's Sorare Contender on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Probably be getting myself off X like everyone else in the near future, but while I'm still there, use it for Contender team news. Best of luck for the game week, folks, when it comes. Hopefully I will be back with a rewards video next Tuesday night or next Wednesday. But good to get some more regular videos out there. I've been on a bit of a roll now. The FPL season is winding down as well. So my plan is to do a lot more Sorare content and do it right through the summer. We'll focus on J-League, K-League, Brazil, Norway, Argentina, all that good stuff. So stay with me, hit subscribe for future videos. Live streams will come at some point. And yeah, thanks for watching and best of luck for the game week. See you on the leaderboard.